welcome in Montenegro. So let's start with the very first question, and that is of course, why move? Well, many of us know what's going on in Western European countries in the political situation, but this is not even my main driver, to be honest. And of course it is an extra push in the back, but the main driver for me is actually lifestyle and weather. I really like, for example, I've lived 5 years in Southeast Asia, and this is something that I truly loved because the people are very happy. You see way more smiles on the street. When you walk around, you see kids being happy, playing around on the street. But one of the things that actually is most important to me is the weather. And it doesn't necessarily has to be hot all year round, but it just has to be sunny, not so clouded. So in the Netherlands, guys, even in the summer, we had weeks where the clouds are just covering the country. It's super gray, and it's pretty normal to have that year round. So I don't know exactly if you would count the sunny days in a full year in the Netherlands, but I have the feeling you can count them on 2 hands. So here in Montenegro, you can already see it right now, like there's no cloud in the sky. Of course, we are in summer right now as well, but I think that I've read online that this is a country that has roughly 300 days of the year sunny. And from the Airbnb that I'm staying, I've talked a little bit with the family, which is actually very beautiful family. You can sense the difference, the kind of peaceful energy that they are carrying around. The kids just playing around, making salads, creating food. They have a lot of food in the garden that they grow themselves. You know, this is all possible in a country like Montenegro. But they also said that, for example, from October to April, they will spend more time within the house because of the winter, of course. But during the rest of the year, they are just sitting outside in front of the porch, eating, having dinner, having breakfast over there. So guys, that is my main driver for looking for a different place. It is the weather, but I also have to say, guys, that I have something with the sea as well, because when I swim in the ocean, it just brings me so much joy, and I would really love to live close by the ocean. And of course, there are a lot of advantages as well when moving to Montenegro, which I have researched before I came here, of course. One of these advantages is tax. The tax system is here pretty okay. It's not the best. It's not like Dubai, for example, but it is very favorable for people who own a business. Another thing is that if you are a resident in Montenegro, you don't have to spend 6 months of the year in this country, right? So many countries, they have this rule that if you want to become a tax resident in a certain country, you have to spend 6 months or 183 days within that country during a whole year in order to remain that residency. And this is not so in Montenegro. As far as I know, I have had some talks with some companies here already. So that's of course another big advantage if you ask me. Then what are some other countries that I'm actually looking at? So another country that I'm looking at is actually the Georgia. I never been there, but I know they are relatively a crypto-friendly country, which is also of course very important. If you make money in crypto, you need to have a way to convert that into fiat as well if you want to, you know, have your daily spendings, if you want to buy something and so forth. Georgia is one of the countries that I'm looking at as well. It's actually not that far from Montenegro. It also has a city with a beach town, which is called Batumi. The tax system there is also very favorable. But again, guys, it's not only about taxes and paying money, not at all. Like I said, for me, it's really more about the weather. And lifestyle is a part of it as well. So Dubai, of course, I've been thinking about Dubai, but I don't really feel it's my type of place. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should visit Dubai as well. So let me know in the comment section if you think I should go to Dubai. Because, of course, everything regarding crypto often happens in Dubai. And I think Dubai or the United Arab Emirates is one of the most crypto-friendly countries in the world right now. for sure it is the most crypto-friendly country in the world. So another country that I thought about is Paraguay. Paraguay also, again, because the weather in Paraguay is very good, the lifestyle there is very good. I have never been there. I've done a lot of research about Paraguay. What I don't like about Paraguay is that there is no beach. It is a landlocked country, and although that has many advantages of its own, and they have a 0% tax system if you earn your money outside of Paraguay, which is very interesting as well. But again, there's no beach. I don't necessarily think it is on top of my list, but it's definitely one of the better options out there as well. And another option that I'm thinking of is Southeast Asia, going back to Southeast Asia and maybe settling in Thailand, maybe settling in another like Vietnam or something. What is the main problem with that? The main problem is if you have your residency in a Southeast Asian country, these countries are more volatile than other countries, of course. So it is more difficult, I personally believe, to get within the bureaucracy of that country and to do everything legal. A lot of things in those countries is a gray area. The law is not that clear on some things. So I believe those countries are beautiful, like Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, and so forth. But to set up a official residency and official home base there might be a little bit volatile, might be a little bit challenging in terms of following the law completely and so forth. I believe that's more easier and it's more straightforward in a country like Montenegro, which is in Europe, but it's not part of the European Union. And so you still have a lot of freedom, but you do enjoy finances and stuff more in a more structural way. And you can definitely see that when looking at the yachts here and when looking at the environment. It's really beautiful, it's very peaceful. And yesterday I went swimming. I will show you guys. I went swimming over there in the back at the beach, and I don't know, it's super peaceful. I had a very safe feeling. You can just leave your stuff at the beach. People like respect you. People are very friendly here. When you cross the street on a zebra, like all the car stops. Like I have been, like every car so far has been stopping, and I was a little bit used to Asia, or like in the Netherlands they also stop, right? But in Asia, for example, or other countries, you just have to claim your right a little bit when crossing the street. But right here in Montenegro, or at least in Tivat, this is just the first city that I've visited right here. I'm going to check more in this whole country, because when I find a city that I really resonate with, that I really vibe with, I'm actually really planning to, if so, maybe I'm just going to move here. And I would actually argue, guys, if we would move with more people from our community, with a like-minded people to such a place right here, wow, that is really beautiful if you ask me. It is really beautiful, but especially when you have people around you, of course, that are like-minded, that maybe work in a similar sector as you, or that you can have, that you can do some activities with, that you can swim with, that you can start projects with, you name it, right? But then you have a beautiful environment, a healthy environment where you have like fresh fruits, you have a nice ocean, you have clear skies, you have a lot of sun, an abundance of sun, which of course is as well very important for your mood and very important for your health. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to travel around in this country, and hopefully I'm going to find a city that I really think like, oh, this city really suits me, and it's big enough, and it has all the amenities that I'm looking for. Maybe like some co-working spaces, like some gym with a sauna and ice bath. This is things that I really like, of course. And it is a coast city and everything. And if I can find that click, then I'm probably going to make the move to actually settle here for at least a couple of years, see a little bit what's happening in the rest of Europe, watch the developments from the Western Europe a little bit from a distance, because it's really in decay right now. That's what I personally believe. And to be honest, I actually feel, and not that I feel that unsafe in the Netherlands, because I actually do feel safe in the Netherlands and in Western Europe, but I actually feel more safe so far right here. Really feels like you're walking in Switzerland, but with a beach, with a coast, and with better prices, of course. Actually, so far, really so good. I'm really impressed just with the whole vibe on the street, the weather, the people that are laughing, happy, playing in the beach, the kids running around like they still can be kids. So, what about prices in Montenegro? Well, I just been to the supermarket and I would say like Western products or imported products probably, they are similar prices as we are seeing in the Netherlands, for example, like the Dolce Gusto coffee. But a lot of things are actually much more cheaper that are made right here in this country. So for example, bread is really cheap. I went to a bakery, you can buy for €1 or €2. You have like a borek, or you have like kind of like a cheese. I think it's like a local dish right here. I think they call it borek, but I'm not really sure. They even have like rolled up pizzas. I was talking to the lady from the bakery yesterday, which I think is pretty good. I also sat at a restaurant. I paid at I think it was pretty chic restaurant, flashy restaurant. I paid like $3.50 for a cappuccino. And I went to another restaurant where they had like a promo going on. You get like a croissant, some orange juice and a coffee for like €6.50. So that is definitely cheaper than, for example, in the Netherlands, probably cheaper than most Western countries. So I think if you, generally speaking, it's way cheaper here. That being said, it really depends, of course, on your lifestyle as well. If you try to live a little bit locally, or you have your morning coffee at the restaurant, and the rest of the day you cook yourself at home, you buy like vegetables, you buy like fruits here, and bread, I think it's really cheap. It's probably 50% cheaper than in the Netherlands. But what I really love, and this is again a lifestyle thing, like right now I'm sitting at a square, and as you can see, like people walking here, people sitting on the bench, and they're just chilling, they're just relaxing, having a coffee, having a talk, most of them having a cigarette because many people smoke in this country. But this is actually the lifestyle that I like. A lot of people that are going outside, it's social, people are relaxed, they are not rushing. It's just, the vibe is just really good, and I like this too. I like to take my breaks, sit outside on a bench, have a coffee to go, or just have a sit, or listen to a podcast, listen to some music, and this is definitely nice. It's definitely nice. I feel very much safe in here. The people here are very friendly, and all in all, the vibe on the street, which is very important, is very nice. It's kind of like Spanish vibe, but I would say it's even better. So I've been to a lot of European countries like Spain, Italy, France, even to Greece, but I don't know, it feels quite alive here actually. But I'm also here in the high season, so maybe that has something to do with it. But it just feels, there's like, for me personally, there's like a perfect mixture between like the Western European culture, but also the Mediterranean culture, where you have like the coast and the relaxed atmosphere, but still this social, I don't know how to explain it, but maybe you get a sense of it in this video. But you have a lot of Western amenities. There's no culture shock at all. There's like, you blend in here as a Westerner, you blend in here directly. I feel they still have a lot of traditional values right here, which I also like. Which, like I said earlier, kids still can be kids, because I've seen children swimming right here, and it just looks like they're having a lot of fun. Like, I remember one time I was in Indonesia, in Amet. It was in Bali, a side of Bali, and this is like a village, and in the evening you were seeing all these kids coming to the sea, to the ocean, to the beach there, and they were just playing. They had like a boat that they made, and then like 8 of these kids are going in the boat, and then all the other kids like swimming next to the boat. But you can just see the amount of fun that these kids had. is amazing. And for me, as a foreigner or somebody that is sitting in that atmosphere and looking and seeing all these kids having fun, it also touched something in me. Like, it makes me feel like a kid again. It makes me more happy to see all these children smile. And this is something that I have here as well, because at the beach you see so many kids. They're just playing around. They have like these surfboards and they play with each other. They jump in the water. The parents just let them swim. They go quite deep in the sea as well. So they just let the kids play. It's a very much free atmosphere, relaxed atmosphere, like very much relaxed. In the Netherlands, I personally feel it is slightly different. It is more stressed. You'll be more careful. There's more this hyper vigilance going on. But maybe, and I gotta be honest, guys, maybe that's just my experience. I don't know if anyone else has that in the Netherlands, because I don't really talk too much with people about that. But this is something that I noticed when visiting Montenegro right here. People are very relaxed. The parents are very relaxed. The kids are walking around and they seem to have a lot of fun. So I would say this city, Tivat, also is really child friendly. Also, when you look at some parks right here, you see a lot of playgrounds for kids. And like I said, the cars stop when you try to cross the street on the zebra path. And this is also something that I'm not really used to with other South European countries like Spain or Italy. It's just more like, for my feeling, it's just more like everyone just go and the traffic is a little bit crazy. Maybe Montenegro will change when I visit other cities as well. I've just seen one city right now, but so far it is actually pretty structured and relaxed. I think that is two good characteristics: structured and relaxed. So so far the only downside for me, wow, they even have like an outside gym, guys. I always love this. I do this in the Netherlands often, like train outside. But for me the only downside would be that it is a small city. So if you would live here for like a longer term, it might be a bit small. It might feel a bit small, but there are a lot of advantages next to that as well, because it means that the place that you are settling is relaxed. You have peace, you have the beach, you have just a relaxed atmosphere, right? Look at this. We're just walking in the nature. There's like a coffee shop. Maybe you can see it right there. It just looks very cozy to sit. And it's easy to go to other places. It's easy to travel to Bosnia. It's easy to travel to other cities within Montenegro. They have an international airport, so you can even fly. Let's say you can spend 6 months of the year in Thailand or Southeast Asia, and then 6 months of the year you can come to this beautiful place. Like, there are so much options. For me right now, the only downside is that it is relatively small. So that's why tomorrow I go to a different city right here. That city is a little bit bigger. They have like co-working spaces. It's also a coastal city. So maybe that is going to be fitting more. Let's see. But I actually, guys, I have to say I'm super positively surprised by Montenegro. Of course, I did a lot of research before I came here. I already have some contacts here. I already have some contacts who can help setting up a company, helping with the residency and so forth. So of course I watched a lot of videos, and but in the end, the thing is, you just have to go to a country and you just have to experience it by yourself, because you can watch 100 YouTube videos and it all looks nice, but you never know how it feels. And in this time and age, your feeling is most important. And I got to say that the feeling for me in Montenegro is better than I expected before I came here. But I also tried to come a little bit without expectations. Wow, we got some nice street art going on over there. Yeah, it's just a really, so far, really beautiful country, even though I only see one city, the most newest city. So maybe the other cities will be a bit less. Maybe they will be a bit better because they are bigger. Anyway, I'm looking very much forward to visit these cities. And I could definitely, on one hand, in this city, Tivat, I could definitely see myself living here, especially if there's like a bigger expat community, when you have, some friends, some like-minded people, because that's of course very important, because the location where you are going to live is very important, but it's also important that you have like a social network, right? Like people you are working together with, or people with similar interests as you, friends. where you can socialize with. So I think that's also very important. But I have the feeling it's not a problem here to get friends, because like I said, the locals are very friendly people, and it is easy to connect. I feel it's more, that's also another plus I have, it's more easy to connect than other Southern European countries because of the English language. I feel many people here are speaking English, and that is of course also a big plus. And another big plus, guys, is because Montenegro is not part of the European Union. So if you are moving from outside the European Union, so let's say from the States or something, then it is actually easier to get here than if you try to move to a country within the European Union. So Montenegro has in the pipeline, like sooner or later they want to become part of the European Union, and maybe that will happen in 2028, something like this. It is possible. I'm not really sure what will then really change in this country. Of course, if they suddenly become part of the European Union, doesn't mean that the whole culture or the whole structure in the country will directly overnight change, right? So I think there's still a lot of room to there's still a lot of margin there, so to say. I hope you guys understand a little bit what I mean, of course, because when I'm leaving the Netherlands, of course you are leaving as well because you want to leave the European Union. And I'm not really planning too far ahead. That's also something that I've learned recently. I don't want to plan I don't want to make these statements like, yeah, now I'm going to move to this place to stay here for the rest of my life. It doesn't make any sense because the world is dynamic and your life is dynamic. You should follow your intuition, and maybe sometimes in your life, like I did in Southeast Asia, I've lived there for 5 years. It was beautiful, and sometimes it's time to go because you can get bored there, right? And the nice thing about life is that you maybe can make it very colorful by going to all these different places, but not just travel there for 1 week. Stay there for 1 or 2 years, maybe 3 years. Really connect with the culture, really experience the culture, and when it's time to go, you feel like it's time for a new adventure. You just go on a new adventure, and it will enrich your life with all these experiences. And this is, I think, what works more for me. If it's good now, then why not be here now? And if in the future it's good somewhere else, then why not go in the future somewhere else? That is basically what I'm trying to say. And if this video sparked your interest in maybe relocating to a country like Montenegro, then you can always send me an email. I'll put the email right here, and ask any questions, of course, if you are interested in that.